Has anybody ever asked you, how do you do what you do? Well, today on the Kingdom Confidence Podcast, I'm going to share with you a strategy, a framework, a concept that you can begin to implement to better explain how you do what you do to the right people. We're talking about how to convince the right people to believe in your brand here on the Kingdom Confidence Podcast. Welcome to the Kingdom Confidence Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jesse Cole. I'm elated, excited that you're here today. We're talking about how to convince the right people to believe in your brand. And listen, I say the right people because everybody is not going to align with what you are offering in the marketplace as a kingdom practitioner, as a kingdom business leader. So that's why it's important for the right people to align with what you are doing and what you are selling, whatever it's a program, a product, a service. How do you get the right people to believe in your brand? I've had people ask me, Coach Jesse, how do you do what you do? How do you write these books? How do you plan these events? How do you create a coaching program? How do you create a certification program? What are your ins and outs of your business? And it doesn't start with my skill set. It doesn't start with my skill set. I'm gonna tell you that right now. People want to understand. They want to try to, siphon information out of you to try to, hack your skill set. It doesn't start there. For me and for those that I coach and what we teach, it starts with your story. It starts with an experience. And we have a framework that we teach our clients on how to find their unique kingdom message. And then everything they do from that sparks whatever. Like you can actually scale from that. So how do you find your kingdom message in a way that it convinces people, it draws people in to believe in your brand? I believe it happens in 7 steps. And it's not just going to happen quickly, but when you commit to this process, it will happen. And at the end, you'll be able to see how you can scale your unique message. You don't have to steal anybody else's stuff. You don't have to try to, creatively acquire somebody else's experience. You have your own. And I believe that whatever product, service, program you have, it should be steeped in your unique message because that is what is going to draw the people in. And not only that, it keeps you honest to your journey. All right. So the first step to inviting people in, to enticing people in, to drawing people in to what you're doing is to understand that you've had a unique experience. And maybe you haven't dug into that experience, but every big business, it starts with a unique experience, a transformational experience. Somebody, the founder, or something that happened in somebody else's life in their family, something happened in their life that caused them, that sparked a thought, that sparked a movement, that sparked a business. Something happened in their real life that said, you know what? I've gone through this. This happened in my life. And I believe that because this happened in my life, other people are experiencing some of the same things. And because I've overcome it, I can help other people. It starts with an experience. So what is the experience that you have gone through that maybe you haven't dug deep into yet, but however, it's driving what you do? What is that experience? What brought you to the point of saying, I got to do something different? What brought you to the point of saying, man, like my life was like this before, but I can see it being different, but I can't really achieve that unless I deal with this traumatic event, and unless I understand what really happened to me in this season of my life. What is that experience? Because whatever that experience is, once you get a hold to it, once you refine it, once you begin to put language to it, it's going to draw the people in who need what you have. So number 1, what was the experience? Number 2, what was the revelation that you received from that experience? That experience just didn't sit there. It didn't just happen to you. It happened for you. So what revelation did you receive as you were going through that experience? What new mindset formed? What realization happened for you that caused you to elevate yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, to know that this experience happened for you, not against you? It happened for you, and it pushed you to where you are right now. So you have an experience. From that experience, you will have a revelation that just changes your trajectory, that changes your path, that changes your journey, and it begins to accelerate you. And from that revelation, you begin to experience growth internally, right? So that revelation causes you to go on a search for answers. Maybe you've experienced some kind of traumatic event in your family. Maybe somebody was, diagnosed with a sickness, and because of that, now you're going to study about it to try to come up with a solution. You want to get more familiar with it. This revelation is causing you to dig deeper into finding the truth about your experience. I'm going to share how this happened in my life in a minute. But this is how I got to where I am right now, going through this process. I had an experience, had a revelation that shifted my perspective. I began to do some research about what I was going through. And after that, I began to identify different principles or different truths as I was growing. God began to show me different truths, different principles, different insights that later became the Kingdom Confidence Framework, which I now teach and I coach on, and I have a certification program and I have an assessment around it. But it all started with an experience, a revelation. That revelation led me to do some research, and I began to grow spiritually, emotionally, even physically. And then from that, God began to show me principles. Now I have 7 principles for the Kingdom Confidence Framework. You may have 3, somebody else may have 5, but you're gonna begin to see a thread of connectivity as you begin to dig into your experience. You're gonna see, man, these 3 things really helped me get through this thing, or these 5 pillars really helped me get through, or these 7 lessons helped me really understand what I went through and how I can help other people. Right? So an experience, revelation, growth. And from that growth, God began to show you different pillars or principles. And then because you get excited about it, because it's really helping you, maybe you begin to share it with the people that are close to you, maybe close family, close friends. You begin to share your experience and what you've learned. You begin to share the revelation. You begin to share these principles, and you share with them because you're really collecting data, because you know it's worked for you. You know it's changed your life. And now you want to see how these same things, these same principles can impact the people around you. And so you share with trusted people around you, and you begin to create a new language around this thing, because you're elevated now. You can't talk the same now. You don't see the world the same now. So now, because of that, your language begins to change around this thing. So in this testing stage, that's what's happening. You're getting feedback and you're refining. You're getting feedback, you're refining. You're getting feedback and you're refining. And then once you get to a point to where you're confident in this whole process that you're going through, you're getting confident in why this happened for you and what you've learned from it. And now you're getting more educated around it, and you're getting that data, that feedback from others. Now you begin to share it publicly, whether through social media posts, or maybe you launch a program or whatever. You know that it helped you. This growth helped you. This growth helps the people that are close to you. And you have the data now that shows that it could possibly help other people. And you begin to put it out there. You begin to share with the world now. And when you begin to share with the world, the language gets even more elevated, and the process gets even more elevated. You begin to do even more refining to your product, to your service, right? You begin to grow in that, and it grows you as a person, because now you're totally engaged. You're totally engaged with the people that you're serving, and they begin to share with you testimonials of how what you've gone through and the principles that you've learned and the revelation that you received and the growth that you've experienced, They begin to share with you how that is impacting their life. And that gives you another level of credibility. I call it kingdom credibility. It gives you another level of kingdom credibility. And the more impact and the more information you receive, you have two choices to make. Either you can get big headed and prideful and think it's all about you, or you can have a broken spirit, a humble spirit, a grateful spirit, knowing that it's not about you, but you want to go deeper in this work to help at a deeper capacity. It's only two ways to go, right? So you had the experience. Through that experience, you receive the revelation. Through that revelation, you've experienced growth. From that growth, God began to show you your 3, 5, or 7 principles that become the framework for how you're helping people now. And then you begin to test it with people around you. And then once you get comfortable and confident in that, you begin to share it openly. People begin to share their testimonies with you, which is going to even refine it even more. And because you've been faithful in this process, guess what's going to happen? God begins to show you how to scale that thing. So it's not just one product. It's not just one service. God begins to show you how you can scale it, like do more, do multiple things. And now it's not as if you're doing more. It's just you have more offerings. But those offerings are rooted and they're steeped in what? Your transformational experience. So you're not out here just creating things that don't connect. Once you find what your kingdom message is, everything that you do begins to come out of that. People call it, I've heard it called the value ladder. However, we call it doors. It's the same message, but God begins to show you different doors that you can build, because people may not come through a program door, but they might come through a book door. They might not come through a book door, but they might come through a conference door. They may not come through a conference door, but they might come through a retreat door. They might come through your email list door. All these different doors that are leading to the same message, but that won't happen unless you understand what that transformational experience is. We teach this in our Kingdom Confidence Ambassador program. I'm actually just finished writing a book about this as well. And so I believe that this is a framework that can help leaders like you stay focused, not be all over the place, find what your kingdom message is, which is going to draw in the people, the right people that are called to be impacted by your work. I love it because we've done this. We have a community of certified kingdom practitioners that we just graduated. We have an email list of people who are eating up the content. We have a thriving podcast, but everything is around kingdom confidence. Everything is around kingdom confidence. Everything that we do, summits, retreats, books, everything that we do is around this message of kingdom confidence. So how did I get here? Well, several years ago, back in 2016, sometime 2016, 2017, I went through a transformational experience that showed me, that revealed to me that all these years I had been walking with and living in the spirit of rejection. I didn't know that. I had an encounter with the mentor. They said something. I got offended. What they said was not offending, like it wasn't disrespectful, but I received it and I got offended. I didn't like how I felt. I asked God, where did that come from? He began to show me something that happened to me when I was 11 years old with another leader that I respected. And that's where the seed of rejection was planted in my life at 11 years old. I said, okay, God, I don't want this. I didn't put that there. How do I overcome this? And he began to show me how to overcome it. I began to get books. Here is the growth part. I began to get books, watch podcasts on rejection, go to workshops on rejection, pray about it, fasting, getting everything I needed because I didn't want this. And because I was educating myself on this and getting spiritual direction, I began to grow. And because I began to grow, God began to show me different insights on how other leaders are walking in the spirit of rejection as well. And he gave me the 7 principles of kingdom confidence and how to help them align their confidence through him and not themselves. And from that, I began to test it with family and friends, and I did a free 8-week coaching program where all I had was sticky notes. I didn't have this big coaching program. I had I call them duct tape notes. I had sticky notes, and I was teaching for 8 weeks off of sticky notes. And what I was doing was collecting data from people that felt that they were connected to this message around kingdom confidence and overcoming the spirit of rejection. And I did that for 8 weeks, collected that data. And then once I got confident, I began to share it openly. Once I began to understand what the language was around it. And because I began to share it openly, then God said, okay, now write a book on it. I wrote a book about it, hosted conferences on it, have coaching programs around it, have certification programs around it, summits, retreats, all around this kingdom confidence message. And it draws in the people who need what's on the inside of me, something that happened to me when I was 11 years old that I didn't even know happened. But I never would have gotten to this point if I never would have dug into that experience that I had with my mentor. You've gone through something as well. It may not be as deep as mine, or it may be even deeper. But there has been something in your life, a transformational event that maybe you haven't dug into. And I believe that the gold, your next level, your movement is tucked away in that transformational experience. And if you do the digging, if you do the work, God can begin to show you how to use that to impact and empower other people around you. That is how you draw people in to your brand. Authentic stories that paint you as human, that allow people to see you as human, but an overcoming human. You're not dragging people through the mud. You're not bitter. You are teaching and you're sharing from a place of power. You're empowered. You're teaching and you're sharing from a place of overcoming, of victory, because you get to show people what it looks like to experience something, go through something, grow through it, siphon all the wisdom from it, and now you're sharing it with others. They get to see their next level in you when you do it this way. I'm telling you what I know. Every great movement has a transformational story. That story is going to draw people in. All right. So that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions, you know how to reach out to me. info@coachjessicole.com. We have the Kingdom Confidence assessment tool that shows you where you are currently as a leader in relation to this Kingdom Confidence framework and how you can grow. So it's not just an assessment. You're actually going to take it and you're going to receive results, and not just results, but also some insights on how you can grow in your areas where you score the lowest. Okay. So if you would love to take that free assessment, the link is inside of our show notes here. And I look forward to connecting with you on a deeper level and helping you discover what your kingdom message is that's going to draw the people in and is going to convince them to believe in your brand. Remember that what you want to become depends on your willingness to become it. Have a great day.